Winning Blueprint presents. It's the Redskins Report. So it's everything Redskins and anything of the sort. That's right, there's nothing here to hide. Skins colors are so bold, man, I wear 'em with pride. So get this Skins Report. Recap of Sunday's game and anything of the sort. Whether it's losses or wins, it's all skins. Come get it. I'm holding down the fort. You know why? 'Cause it's the Redskins Report. Man, can't nobody tell me that, man. I've been watching Redskins football since I was 3. Where were you at on January 12th, 1991? I know where I was at. I was in my room crying because the Redskins just lost to the San Francisco 49ers in the divisional round of the playoffs. That's real. I'm serious. That's real. Man, just tune into the show, man. Just tune in. The Redskins Report.
Redskins Nation, stand up. On your feet, stand up. We asked for it, and now we're about to get it. We asked for meaningful football down the stretch, and here it comes. We got some on Thanksgiving. Now it's December. Okay, it's no longer November. We're into December, and we're playing meaningful football. That's what we asked for. That's what we signed up for. Now we're getting it. So now it's not the time to start acting bashful. We got to go in head first. And we got to come out with a W. And on that note, how are you doing today? I'm your host, Lou. This is the Redskins Report, the New York Giants Preview edition. And it's Monday Night Football. I want to set the stage a little bit. A lot of things going through my mind right now about this team, about their fortunes moving forward, about the past, about the present, about a lot of things. So let me set the stage a little bit before we get into what it is the Redskins need to do to try to win this game on Monday and put us in a position to really do some damage down the stretch. The Redskins are 3-14 over their last 17 Monday night games. We've been abysmal on Monday night, and we all know this. I mean, in those 14 losses, and I shouldn't have to remind you of how bad it's been, but just in case you forgot, let me tell you how bad it's been. If we all can recall, there's the Swinging Gate game where the Giants beat the brakes off of us. I want to say it was 43-12 or 45-12. Jim Zorn elects to go for 2 fake field goals in a row. That was the worst play I've ever seen, probably in Redskins history. That was a mess. That was a train wreck. Then there's the Monday Night Massacre 2010. And we all know that was the game Michael Vick just went bananas on us. I mean, he absolutely played a game for the ages with a slight miss coming down. It was just humiliating to watch. And that was one of the worst ones because if you didn't get in your seat right away, if you missed the first 10 minutes of the game, we were down 21-0. I mean, you didn't have a lot of time to really prepare yourself for that A-whooping that was coming our way. And, I mean, if you blinked twice, it was 35-0. And so that one was tough to take. Then there was the season where, and this is 2010 again, where, this is 2009, pardon me, where we jumped out to the 6-2 start, I believe it was, 6-3. Monday night game against the Steelers. We're feeling good. We're thinking this might be the season we might actually be pretty good. Steelers come into FedEx, turn it into Heinz Field. It's basically a road game at home. And you know the Steelers can do that. You know, if there's one team in the league that can take your home stadium and turn it into a road game, it's the Steelers. You know, a lot of people like to talk about the Packers and how well they travel. Nobody beats the Steelers. The Steelers will pack up their group, bring it to your stadium, and turn it into a home game. That's what they did to us on that night. They injured Jason Campbell. That game was a mess. We lost. And our season really went down the drain after that. If you remember that game. And then we all remember, and we really want to forget, but We all remember the 3rd and 21 game. You know, we had the Cowboys. No way we should have lost that game. Romo was injured. A simple zone coverage would have done on 3rd and 21, and we would have won that game. Instead, we blitzed the house. They didn't get there. Romo finds Des Bryant. You know the story. I don't need to go over it again. We lose that game. So there's been a lot of bad losses on Monday night for us. Not a lot of wins. You know, not a lot of wins which to speak of. I just told you, 3-14. So there's not a lot of good memories for us of late. We got to turn this thing around. But the one thing we have on our side is Robert Griffin III. And I keep saying that, but you got to realize, this guy changes things. You know how they say prayers change things? You know, prayer changes things. Robert Griffin III changes things. You know, 0-6 on Thanksgiving, sprinkle a little bit of Robert Griffin III on it. Make it go away. Now we've got a win against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving now. No longer are we an offer on Thanksgiving against the Cowboys. That's how I feel about this. Get it done. You know, we've been struggling on Monday night. Sprinkle a little bit of Robert Griffin III on it. Make it go away. Get us a W. Also, and I'll talk about this a little bit later in the show, but I always declare Week 13 Sean Taylor game. That's my Sean Taylor game. You know, he's gone, but he's never forgotten. And Week 13 for me is always the Sean Taylor game. And right now, since his passing, we're 0-5 in the Sean Taylor game. We haven't won in Week 13 since he's passed away. 2007 to now, we have not won a game in Week 13. I need that to change. You know who can change that? Robert Griffin III. So, I want this one really bad. I haven't got one for my man Sean since he passed in Week 13. We all remember the Joe Gibbs 2-timeout game against the Bills. We lost to the Jets last year. I mean, there's been losses every year on Week 13. We got to find a way to get one. This is the year to get it. I want this one really bad. We can do it. Alfred Morris is approaching 1,000 yards rushing. When's the last time we've had a back gloss over 1,000 yards with ease? I mean, we're not even talking about Alfred Morris. And I don't want you guys to sell him short. And I don't think anyone in Redskins Nation is doing it. Okay, I won't speak for you guys because if you're a Redskins fan, you realize the impact Alfred Morris has had on our season. So I won't talk to you about it, but anyone out there that's not a Redskins fan and you don't get it, I mean, because Robert Griffin III has really taken all of the spotlight, and rightfully so. But Alfred Morris does not need to be overshadowed. What he's done for this team this season, it goes beyond measure. I mean, without him, I don't know if Robert Griffin III is as dynamic and as effective as he is because it's a two-headed monster. You know, what we bring to you with our rushing attack, we're #1 in the league now. We leapfrogged the 49ers. And so we're now #1 in the league in rushing. And of course, the biggest part of that is Alfred Morris. If there's no Alfred Morris, there's no Redskins rushing attack. You know, Robert Griffin III can run all he wants, but if there's no threat of the back taking the ball and running it up the middle, he can't pull it out and take off himself. So the threat of Alfred Morris taking the rock and running, and look, he's been dynamic. He's been stellar for us this year. I mean, he's rushed for over 100 yards at least 6 times this season. And it's so quiet when he does it. I mean, it's 17 carries, it's 19 carries, it's 21 carries. It's so subtle, you know. There's nothing subtle about his running style. But the way he does it is just so subtle. You know, you look down and then you look up, and he's got 111 yards. It's like, whoa, you know. But there's 10 here, there's 7 there, there's 5 there, there's 13 there, there's 2 there, there's 6, and then all of a sudden he's at 111. That's what he does. And I love Alfred Morris. I love his running style. He runs tough, he runs hard. Every yard that's there, he gets it and then some. You know, if the play is blocked for 5, Alfred's coming back with 7. And that's why you got to love this guy. Because the first guy isn't getting him. And the second guy's going to pay. And so just got to love Alfred Morris. So just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page. Alfred Morris is an absolute beast. And he's 18 yards away from 1,000 yards. And that's crazy because he could break the Redskins rushing record. The all-time record, I think Clinton Portis holds that record with 1,400 and some odd yards. We got 5 games left, and he's approaching 1,000 right now. Let's just assume that he does what he did to the Giants the first time, which is go over 100 yards. Let's assume he gets 118 yards, which would put him at 1,100 yards. We're talking about 1,100 yards with 4 games to go. It's feasible for him to break that record. I mean, this is, without a doubt, one of the best rushing performances we've seen from a Redskins running back of all time, and he's a rookie. So, and that Clinton Portis record might be 1,500. I don't know. It's somewhere around there, but he has a legitimate shot of breaking it, whatever it is. I know it's not over, 1,550. It's somewhere 1,550 and back. So, he's got a shot. So, that's just what I wanted to do to set the table, just to give you a little bit of what's on my mind going into this game. All right, look. The Giants don't scare me anymore. They used to scare the hell out of me. None of the teams in the NFC East scare me anymore. And that feels good to be able to say because there was a time when I wasn't afraid of the Cowboys. I've never been afraid of the Cowboys because even when we weren't good and they were, we always played the Cowboys tough. There was never really a time when I felt afraid of the Cowboys where I'm like, hey, they're probably going to kill us. They're going to blow us out. Never was afraid to go to Texas Stadium. I'm not afraid to go to Dallas now. Dallas doesn't scare me. Never have, never will. Same with Philly. Never been afraid of the Eagles, even when they were at their height with McNabb and they were scoring points and they were very explosive offense. Never was afraid to go to Philly. Never was afraid to go to Veterans Stadium. Never was afraid to go to the Link. The Eagles never scared me. I never was afraid of the Eagles, even at their highest peak. Wasn't afraid of the Eagles. Always thought we had a shot to beat them. The Giants, however, different story. They always scared the hell out of me because no matter how good we were playing, if we had to go to New York, how many times have we went to New York? And this goes back to when it was Giant Stadium. How many times did we go to New York and just get obliterated? I think back to the 36-0 game. There might not be an emptier feeling than that 36-0 game maybe 5-6 years ago, 4 years ago. They just beat us in every way imaginable. And we couldn't even score a point. I mean, we used to go to Giant Stadium routinely every year and get beat up. And then they come to Washington, smack us around, and leave with a W2. It's not many times we could look at the Giants and say, hey, we got you this time. Even when we came close, we would find a way to lose to these guys. I remember one season we started out 2-0, had the Giants on the ropes. I believe we went to halftime with a 14-3 lead. End up losing the game 17-14. It changed the fortunes of our season. I swear, if we would have started that season off 3-0. And I believe the week before was the Santana Moss game where he caught the 2 passes. It may not have been the same season. I might be mixing my seasons up. Either way, I know that game was in week 3. We were 2-0 coming into that game. We went up 14-3 at half. We had on the old school, yellow helmets with the red R with the white circle. It was gorgeous with the yellow pants, the white top. We looked crisp. I thought we were going to win that game. We blew it. Plaxico Burress catches a little pass on the sideline, breaks the tackle, goes down the sideline, scores the game-winning touchdown. We lose the game. And that was the game where, for some reason, Clinton Portis is on the sideline. Liddell Betts gets in, runs the ball twice. And we get stopped on, 3-4 straight runs. Goal line stand for the Giants. They beat us. Changed their season around. Matter of fact, it was 2007 because they won the Super Bowl that year. They started out the season. They gave up 80 points in the first 2 games. 35 to somebody in the first week. I think it was the Cowboys. 45 the second week to the Packers. They turn around. And I'm thinking, I'm licking my chops because you giving up 80 in the first 2, and we were playing good football at the time. We're 2-0. We're going to demolish these guys. But it was the Giants. And we don't demolish the Giants. And they came in, and they cooled us off. We started off the first half, looked like we were going to steamroll them just like everyone else had. Had 14 going into the half. Didn't score another point. They run off 14 unanswered. They beat us. And Those are the kind of things that happen when we play the Giants. So last year felt great when we were able to sweep them. Nothing feels better than sweeping a team that you have trouble with. When we used to struggle with the Cowboys and they were owning us and they were beating us twice a year, felt good to say, hey, we just got one. I just wanted one because we were struggling to beat them. With the Giants, felt good to sweep them because we don't go to New York and win often. We don't do that. How many times can you remember our first game of the season, after they win a Super Bowl, or, our first game on the road is at New York and we get beat up? When they won their first Super Bowl in 2007, they gave us the Thursday night game that next season. We got beat up. And it wasn't a blowout. It was like 16-7, but we were never close in that game. We never stood a chance. I think the one touchdown we scored in that game was on a fake field goal. I mean, we don't play well against the Giants traditionally. But last year, I think it kind of changed our fortunes because we were able to sweep them. And if you remember, the two runs we had, and I'm going to talk a lot about those two runs because I don't want to get ahead of myself. But this season is starting to feel eerily similar to 2005, 2007. Let's hope we can get something like that. Let's hope we can catch fire, and make it to the postseason. Let's catch lightning in a bottle, close it up, take that bottle with us every week, and keep winning games. Because we want to go to the postseason. We're a dangerous team. If we can just get a ticket to the dance, if we can just get a chance, we can do some things. I know there's no team in the NFC that wants to play the Redskins, wants to face our offense, wants to have to deal with Robert Griffin III. Defense, that's another story. They're not afraid of our defense whatsoever. But offensively, there's not many teams that want to see us because of what we do in the threats and the dangers that we pose on a defense. We put pressure on opposing defenses. So this game is huge. So what we need to do in this game to beat the Giants is a lot like what we did in the first game. We didn't win the game, but I felt like that game plan was as effective as any game plan we've had all season. What it was run the football with Alfred Morris, and we did a great job in that game of establishing the run. And I felt like, for the most part, we kept Robert Griffin III clean. Yeah, he got sacked a couple times, fumbled the football, but we were moving the football. If you remember, we had penalties in that game. We made mistakes in that game. We turned the football over in that game. If you remember, we dominated that game. We should have won that football game. Don't forget, we had a touchdown pass called back. Josh Morgan makes a stellar play. Robert Griffin III makes an excellent throw. He throws a dart to Josh Morgan. Josh catches it, breaks two tackles, makes someone miss, gets in the end zone. We got an illegal procedure penalty. We got a guy that didn't stop, on a shift. We got a legal shift penalty. Guy didn't stop for a second to set. Two guys were moving at once, and they didn't set for a second. They called it back. Things like that can't occur. It happened in that game. We can't have it happen in this game. We just got to execute. Because we were moving the football. We were scoring points. We were doing whatever we wanted to do to the Giants, especially early in that game. We were moving the football. Then we started self-destructing. We started to have the penalties. We started to make the mistakes. We had turnovers in that game. Remember, Robert Griffin III threw a pick in that game. He fumbled in that game. We had turnovers. Santana Moss fumbled in that game on that last drive when we were going down to either tie it or take the lead. So we made mistakes in that game. We should have won that football game. I think we just need to come out and do the same thing we did that game, which was run the football, establish Alfred Morris early. If we can establish the run, keep them off balance. Because now you have to look for the run, and you have to respect the play action fake. So when Robert sticks it in his belly and pulls it out, you got to respect it. Because we're running the football down your throat, you have to respect it. You got to take that step up. Now it's too late. Now you realize it's a pass. It's too late. He's open over the middle. We got to continue to use Aldrick Robinson. I like these deep bombs every game. No, it's not going to happen every single game. But I feel like we need to take a shot to him at least twice a game. If we don't hit the first one, try it again. Dial it up. And don't go to it too soon. Don't go to the well too early. I think the last 2 weeks we've done it beautifully. I think we've really perfected the art of lulling defenses to sleep. Put them to sleep. Run it, run it, run it, run it. Play action fake, short, intermediate stuff. Run it, more play action fake, intermediate stuff. Then over the top. They go to sleep. Now they're looking for something short. Safety starts getting nosy. He sees that tight end coming over the middle. Now he thinks, oh yeah, the tight end's getting the football. Hit him over the top with some Aldrich Robinson. I love it. We need to go back to that as well. Continue to use Santana Moss in that slot. He's been a nightmare for opposing defenses. Continue to use him. I don't know about Brandon Banks, guys. I don't know about him anymore. I was a big advocate for him being on the roster before the season started. I was like, look, that guy's dynamic. He makes plays. You got to have him. And it's funny because every time you think about getting rid of him in the preseason, he makes a play in the preseason. You never see it in the regular season. He makes that one play in the preseason that reminds you, this guy's got elite speed. He can make things happen. He's a game changer when he can make plays. Every preseason, you think about cutting him, you're like, I don't know, he's on the fence. And then he returns one for a touchdown. He did it against the Bears in his preseason. Last preseason, he did it against the Bills. He always reminds you, yeah, I can do this. But we don't never see it in the regular season. And so I'm starting to become lukewarm on them guys. I don't know. I was talking to Rich Tandler, who is the beat writer for the Redskins for CSNWashington.com. And I had about a 30-minute discussion with him on Twitter. I mean, he's a great guy. And we were talking and exchanging messages back and forth. And he said it because I asked him about Brandon Banks. Because I just don't know. At this point now, I wouldn't be opposed to sticking Niles Paul back there on kickoffs because as a returner, you got to be able to just run it up in there sometimes. Not every time, but just some of the time. You got to be willing to just take a shot sometimes and just go. Because holes are this small in the National Football League, and they close that quick. You might get a hole that's this big. But if you take too long to hit it, by the time you get there, it's like this and you're getting tackled. It's gone. And so he's a hesitant runner. You know why? If I was 5'6" and 165 pounds, I'd be hesitant too. He don't want to take shots. And I understand that. You're a small guy. He's a diminutive guy. He don't want to get hit. But I like my special teams guys to be fearless. Yeah, I don't care if I'm going to take a shot. You know what you signed up for when you're on special teams. You know what you signed up for. You go in there and you just hit it. And Niles Paul, when he gets it, he hits it. He doesn't know if it's going to be a hole there or not when he takes off, but he's hoping that it's going to be a hole when he gets there. If it's not, he's just going to run up in there. He's going to make a hole. And he's going to get to the 20-yard line. When you go left and right, when you go east and west, sideline to sideline, you don't make it to the 20 when you bring it out. When Niles Paul gets the ball, he's going straight up the field. He's getting to the 20. I don't worry about Niles Paul when he returns one because I know he's getting to the 20, at least to the 20. Normally he gets to the 30 because he's running so fast and straight ahead. There's no wasted motion. There's no lateral movements with him. It's north and south. And that's what I want. No, everyone's not going to be Brian Mitchell. And we understand that. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to make things happen. And he's not doing that right now. He's not even doing it on punts either. So talking to Rich Tandler, he was saying that after that fiasco last week in Dallas where he actually fielded a punt in the end zone and then returned it and got tackled at the 7-yard line. After that fiasco last week, he's on thin ice. And I was asking him, is this an audition for him, these final 5 games, for him to remain on the roster next year? And they're saying no. Rich Tandler said no. It's a punt by punt. It's a game by game. It's a play by play observation for Brandon Banks. It's no longer he can make a mistake here, make a mistake. If he fumbles one time, if he has a blunder where he fields a punt inside the 5 and gets tackled at the 7, he's probably going to be benched. And that's what Rich Tandler told me. And I buy it. I mean, if you listen to Mike Shanahan at his press conference this week, he didn't mince words. He said, look, he's got to step up. It's not all his fault that he's not, breaking the big one and making the impact plays. But look, he's got to step up. And ever since they changed the kickoffs from the 30 to the 35, his impact on the game has been diminished greatly. And so I can't really say that I'm a big Brandon Banks guy right now. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but that's where I'm at with it. He needs to step up. I said all that to say this. This is the biggest stage that you can get. Monday Night Football, everyone's watching. Lights are bright. We need this one. He needs to step up. This is the time for him to make a play. He wants to solidify himself as a Redskin, as a core Redskin. Make a play on Monday night. Do something that makes everyone go ooh and ah, which is the reason why you were brought on this team in the first place. Make a play, man. Make a play. So, if we can get something out of the special teams, that'd be nice. When's the last time we got anything out of the special teams? When's the last time we got anything out of our special teams? When's the last time we blocked a punt, blocked a field goal, ran a kickback on punt or kickoff, or forced a fumble on punt or kickoff? When's the last time you remember us doing any one of those things? Pick one. Any of those 6 things. When's the last time you remember us doing one of those things? I can't remember anything. I'm pretty sure you can't. And if you did, I wouldn't even be able to tell you if you were wrong or not, because I can't even remember the last time we've done anything of any significance. The last time, I think we might have blocked a kick and actually had a chance to return it. I want to say the Sean Taylor play against the Cowboys, and that we end up winning with the Nick Novak field goal in overtime. I don't know. That might be the last time we blocked a kick. We don't do anything on special teams is what I'm trying to say. How about this be the night that we get something from the special teams? I won't count on it. I'll just tell you all the things that I think we need to do. Defensively, we got to get turnovers. And that's the one thing that we've been able to do when we've won games. When we lose on defense, we get shredded and we don't get any turnovers. When we win, we get shredded, but we get turnovers. And that's the difference maker. You get turnovers, it changes the game. Not only does it flip field position, just like that, but you put yourself in a position. Not only do you take the football away from the opposing team, but you put yourself in a position to get points. And as we know, with this offense, with our field goal kicker, in our situation right now with our field goal kicking situation, it's points. You put us in a position to get points, we're going to convert. You can't say that in the past. We can say that now. With Kyle Forbath back there kicking field goals, feel confident that he's going to make kicks. You get a ball to Robert Griffin III, and it may not even come down to a Kyle Forbath kick, because the way he's going, that's a touchdown. He's taking it down, and we're getting 7. And that's what I want to do, and that's what we need to do in this game, force turnovers. And the one thing I can't say we've done against the Giants of late is force turnovers. Eli Manning has struggled against us. He calls the Cowboys up. He does his thing against the Eagles. But for some reason, he struggles against us. Since Jim Haslett has taken over, Eli Manning has thrown 2 touchdown passes, 8 interceptions against us. Yeah, hard to believe, right? He struggles against us. For some reason, I can't put my finger on it. He struggles against us. We need that to continue on Monday night if we want to get a victory. We need to force at least 2 turnovers. At least 2. I don't care how we get them. It'd be nice to get a fumble and a pick, because I don't see Eli turning it over 2 or 3 times. So it'd be nice to get a fumble from someone, whether it's Eli or Ma Bradshaw or one of these backs that they got off the street. And yeah, they signed Ryan Terrain. Who cares? You know, he can't give them any information about our offense because he wasn't around when we got Robert Griffin III. So the offense is totally different from the last time he was here. So he can't divulge any information that would be helpful to the Giants, hurtful to us. So don't worry about Ryan Terrain. But it's going to be interesting to see if they actually use him in this game, because we know how tough he runs. And it'll be interesting because I know he's got a little bit of something to prove. And he's got a vendetta against us. He's got to. You know, it wasn't a ceremonious release. You know, we didn't depart with each other on good terms. And so I'm pretty sure he wants to stick it to us. And so we got to be ready to stop whoever's out there running the football. It'd be nice to get a turnover, though. A fumble and an interception. Get 2 turnovers at least. And the key for us is don't turn it over. We've been pretty good at not turning the football over. But against the Giants the last time, we had a turnover fest. I think we turned it over 4 times in that game. You can't have that happen. I think Robert Griffin III threw 2 picks. Santana Moss fumbled. And Robert Griffin III fumbled in that game as well. So we can't afford to turn the football over. The Giants are too good to help them. They don't need any help. They're good enough as it is. We don't need to help them at all. So offensively, we need to run the football. We need to make some big plays. We need some splash plays. Aldrick Robinson is the man for the job. We got to continue to go down the field to him. I like the way we set that up. We need to continue to do that. Run, 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 play action, short to intermediate, hitting the tight ends over the middle of the field, hitting Josh Morgan over the middle of the field, hitting Leonard Hankerson over the middle of the field, and then lull him to sleep, run, 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 play action fake, up top Aldrick Robinson. We need to do that. We need to hit some big plays. We need to convert when we're in the red zone. We get in the red zone, we can't settle for field goals. 7s is what we need. If we get to the 30-yard line and our drive stalls out, we can send Kai out there for a 47-yarder and feel good that that's going through the uprights. But if we get to the 15-yard line, 1st and 10 from the 15, we need 7. We get 1st and goal from the 6, we need 7. Not 3, 7. And that's going to be another key in this game. Can our defense buckle down in the red zone, stop them from getting 7s? Can our offense convert in the red zone and get 7s? That's another key in this game. Because the Giants can score points. Now, normally when we go against each other, it's not a high octane, not a lot of points being scored in the game. But the Giants can score. When they rev it up and they get going, and with the way our defense has been playing this season, it's not out of the realm of possibility for the Giants to put 27 on our head in this game. So that means we would need to score 30 to win this game. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's still a possibility that exists because our defense isn't that good. We need turnovers. We need turnovers. And we don't have to score on them necessarily. It'd be nice if we could score off of them. But we need turnovers. We need to get pressure on Eli Manning. The easiest way to get those turnovers, get pressure on Eli Manning. We know Eli will give us the no-look pass. Haven't seen it in a while, but you put pressure on him. Trust me on this one. You put pressure on him, you're getting a no-look Eli special. That's where you get your picks from. Got to get pressure. We got to move him off his spot. And I told you, 2 weeks ago when we started blitzing against the Eagles because they had a rookie in there, and Nicholas Foles, that was going to be the template moving forward. And we blitzed against the Cowboys. We got pressure on Tony Romo. We moved him off his spot. We need to keep doing that. And if we're going to get beat with the blitz, fine. So be it. But we got to blitz. We got to get pressure. We can't just sit back and allow teams to pick us apart because we know our secondary isn't good enough to hold up in the back half with coverage. We have to blitz to get pressure and help them out. You saw what it yielded last week. We blitzed. We got pressure on Romo. We got turnovers. That's what we got to do again. We got to get pressure on Eli, force him into some errant throws, make him pay when he makes the mistakes. We can't drop picks. And we've been pretty good at catching it when it comes our way this season. So if we get opportunities, make them pay for their mistakes. So, recap. Run the football with Alfred Morris. Be effective in the run game. Use that play action fake off of that running attack to set up deep shots down the field. We need to hit Aldrick Robinson. We need to take at least 2 shots to Aldrick in this game. Try to hit one of them. Use Santana Moss in the slot. He's been a nightmare mismatch for all these teams that we've played this season. He's a great threat in that slot. Use Santana Moss to our best abilities in that slot. Score in the red zone. We get in the red zone, needs to be 7, not 3. All right, defensively. And of course, this goes without saying on offense. I'll say it anyway, though. Don't turn the football over. Protect Robert Griffin III. We know this Giants pass rush can get nasty at times. Protect Robert Griffin III. Don't turn the football over on offense. Jason Pierre-Paul might not play. He's battling, back injury. He's going to play, but he's listed as questionable right now. They're saying that he hasn't practiced all week and he might not. He's going to play. But even if he doesn't, doesn't matter. We have to protect Robert Griffin III. He was one of the guys that got pressure last game. So did Justin Tuck. We got to make sure we protect Robert Griffin III. Defensively, it's really simple. Not a lot to talk about on defense because we're not a good defense. So not a lot to talk about here. Stop the run. Last week, the Giants went nuts on the Packers running the football. That can't happen. And I don't expect it to because we stopped the run for the most part. It's only been about 2 or 3 games this season where we got gashed in the run game. Don't expect the Giants to do that to us. Limit Ahmad Bradshaw's effectiveness. Force Eli Manning to take to the air and beat us. We force Eli to beat us and we can get pressure on them, we'll be fine. Stop the run. That's number one. Number two, get pressure on Eli Manning. Get him off his spot. Force him into some errant throws. See if we can force some turnovers. Which moves me to my next point. Turnovers. Got to force at least 2. I need 2. Got to have 2. We want to win this game. I need 2 turnovers. I need them. Got to have them. Limit the effectiveness of the Giants in the red zone. Okay, we're not going to stop them every time they get in the red zone. But if they get in the red zone 4 times, I need 2 of those trips to end in field goals or nothing. They may get 2 touchdowns. I need 2 of those to be field goals, or 1 to be a field goal and 1 to be a turnover, or 2 to be a turnover, or 2 field goals. But they can't get in the red zone 4 times and come away with 4 touchdowns. We won't win that way. Limit their effectiveness in the red zone. We do those things, I feel like we got as good a shot as any to win this football game. I'd like to see something from the special teams in this game. I wouldn't hold my breath. I wouldn't count on it. But it'd be nice to see the special teams show up. It's Monday Night Football. We're not on it often, but don't get used to that because with Robert Griffin III, we're about to be a hot commodity. We're going to be a hot ticket item moving forward. So expect to see us on Monday Night Football at least twice next year, maybe even 3 times. You're going to see us on Sunday Night Football at least once, maybe twice. So we're going to show up on your television sets moving forward. But this is Monday night, our only appearance this season. We got to show up and show out. And so what bigger stage, what better stage for the special teams to finally do something? Why not? But all in all, those are the things that we need to have happen for us to be successful. I feel like we can get it done. I really feel good about this game. I feel so confident about this game. I really like the way we're playing on offense. And I tell you what, looking at the 3 teams ahead of us for that last wild card spot, all the 6 and 5 teams, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Seattle Seahawks, Minnesota Vikings. All of them are on the road. All of them are playing against teams who are up over 500, who are really good teams. There's no cakewalks this week for those 6 and 5 teams. Minnesota's at Green Bay. That should be a loss. Seattle's at Chicago. That should be a loss. Tampa Bay is at Denver. That should be a loss. So we could wipe out all 3 of those 6 and 5 teams, bring them down to 6 and 6. We win the game. Guess what? We're 6 and 6. We beat Minnesota. We own the tiebreaker. We beat Tampa Bay. We own the tiebreaker. Win this game, and literally we went from 3 weeks ago from being dead man walking to 3 weeks later, we're right in the playoff race. Literally, right there. We can see it, we can touch it, we can taste it, we can smell it. It's right in front of our face. But this win is important. It's vital. Now look, we lose this game, we're not dead. Because the rest of the pack can come down to us. But I'll tell you what, it'll get increasingly and exponentially harder for us to go to the playoffs if we lose this game. We're not dead. But then you're looking at the Ravens, you're looking at the Cowboys again. I'm not afraid of the Eagles. Think we should be able to beat them, but looking at the Browns, don't scoff at the Browns on the road, okay? The Browns at home are a different team than they are on the road. So we need this game. All in all, we need this game, and I think we'll be able to get it 24-20. That's my prediction. We're going to win this game 24-20. And a lot of us Redskins fans may not know what greatness and winning looks like. Now, I know it's early, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is a picture of greatness and winning. And that's exactly why I feel like we're going to win this game 24-20. Because of that young man right there. Before I go, I just want to end this episode. It's a somber note, but again, I look at it as remembering a legend because that's what he is in my eyes and always will be. Sean Taylor, of course, as we all know, passed right around this time. Every year, this time, you always remember him. You always hear his name brought up, and for good reason. I mean, for my money, best safety I've ever seen in my life. The combination of size, speed, athleticism, and sheer physicality was second to none. Was not matched by anyone in the National Football League. Will probably never be matched by anyone in the National Football League. You can't get That type of speed, that type of range, that type of athleticism in a 6'2", 6'3" body. 220 pounds, runs like a deer, hits like a truck. It was Sean Taylor. It was Meese. Half man, half beast. And he was going to be a Hall of Famer. No doubt in my mind, he was going to be a Hall of Famer. And what him and LaRon Landry were going to be for the Redskins was going to be out of this world. It was going to be the best safety tandem this league has possibly ever seen. I mean, LaRon in the box is a monster. Sean patrolling the back half. You couldn't do anything. You threw it on one side, the other. He had it all on lock, because he could run sideline to sideline. That was the beauty of Sean Taylor. He could do everything on the football field. You wanted him to blitz? He could blitz. You wanted him to come up and run support? He got it. You need him to hit someone over the middle of the field just to let them know there will be no completions over the middle of the field. Intimidate someone? You need him to be an enforcer? Come on, man. That was right down Sean's alley. You need him to go sideline to sideline? He got that checked. You need him to go back 35 yards and go make a play on the ball? No one did it better. And so, what he brought to this team, what he brought to this league was a gift that many don't receive. And it was taken away from us way too soon. And so, I don't give these out often, but Sean Taylor, for me, he gets the Bret Hart. He was the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be as a safety for the Washington Redskins. And I would venture to say National Football League because, yeah, it was brief. But when he was on, nobody did it better than Sean. And so, on that note, I'm a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskins spirit will never die. My Redskins spirit will never fold. We got a big one, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a big one. We got to take care of business. You want to go to the playoffs? You want people to know we're for real? Monday Night Football, at home, divisional matchup, family business, Giants. Time to take care of some family business. It's our family business. We're going to stick our nose way deep into this family business. And we need to come out smelling like roses. Time to handle this family business. The Giants are in the way. We have a goal to accomplish. And the Giants are in the way. So, let's take care of these Giants and look forward to getting back to 500 on the season and putting our imprint on this NFC wildcard playoff race. So as always, hail to the Redskins. And if you got one, put your towel up. Let's get this one for Sean.
The Redskins Report.